It's a lovely evening up here on the South Downs. The sun is just about to set in front of me, behind you. I'll turn you around so you can see the view I can see. The sun should be just over my shoulder there. Hopefully you can still see me. I'm going to do a hyperfocal shot from up here. I've used this location a couple of times in the past, you'll have seen it on my stream. It's just a beautiful place to stand, and with the sun setting in the background this is hopefully going to be a good shot. So we'll take something and then we'll go and talk some more about hyperfocal in a minute. What actually is hyperfocal distance? Wikipedia has the following entry, of which I like definition 1 the best. The hyperfocal distance is the closest distance at which a lens can be focused while keeping objects at infinity acceptably sharp. When the lens is focused at this distance, all objects at distances from half of the hyperfocal distance out to infinity will be acceptably sharp. But what does that mean from a photography perspective? On the basis that a picture speaks 1,000 words, let's take a look at a diagram which hopefully gives some life to that Wikipedia definition. In this scene, we can see that the camera is on the left of the image and everything between it and the half hyperfocal distance is not sharp. However, everything from half hyperfocal distance through hyperfocal distance and on to infinity is acceptably sharp. It's important to remember that this is acceptably sharp, not pin sharp. The idea here is the image is sharp enough for a print, not necessarily absolutely razor sharp all the way through the image. So hyperfocal distance effectively means maximum depth of field for the focal length and aperture of the camera, and this is particularly important for landscape photography where you want the entire scene to be absolutely as sharp as you can manage. Now, how do we calculate hyperfocal distance? It's a fairly daunting bit of maths for those of us more comfortable with words than numbers. The formula is focal length times focal length over the circle of confusion times the f-stop. I'm pretty sure that most people are comfortable with the concept of focal length and f-stop, but what is the circle of confusion? It may sound like something dreamed up by Dante as one of his secret levels of hell, but it actually refers to the way light is focused through the lens and onto the image sensor in the camera. The optical science that underpins this is pretty much beyond any YouTube video I could produce, but there are plenty of resources on the internet that you could seek out should you wish to know more. The key thing to remember for the purposes of this video is that every camera has a circle of confusion, and information on this can be found online, so you don't need to go opening up your camera, getting a micrometer and a magnifying glass out. You just need to look online. There are plenty of sites out there that will show you what the circle of confusion for your camera is. For my 5D, the circle of confusion value is listed as being 0.030 millimeters. Now we know what all the values are, let's plug them into the formula and get out the actual hyperfocal distance I used in the shot we will be processing in a minute. I was using my Canon 1740 lens at its widest, so we know the top two values are both 17. We also know that the circle of confusion for the camera is 0.030, and I chose to shoot at f10. So the figures are 17 times 17 over 0.030 times 10. Which, with a bit of help from a calculator, gives us a figure of 963 millimeters. Now my Canon 1740 doesn't actually have a mark on the focus ring for 963 millimeters. However, it does have one for 1 meter. So that's pretty close to where we're aiming at. Now, keeping in mind that everything from half the hyperfocal distance to infinity will be acceptably sharp, that means that anything within 481 millimeters of the image sensor will be in the hyperfocal range and therefore should be acceptably sharp. So that's the end of the overview for hyperfocal. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to move on to processing the image I took on the actual sunset. Because this was a bit of a similar image to the drone shot in terms of it being an HDR, and because I've waffled enough on this video already, I'm not actually going to commentate on what I do in Lightroom and Photoshop. I'm just going to put it up as a time lapse. So if you've enjoyed this video, if you have any comments, please leave them below. Please subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.